Hello everyone, I'm Dick Wolff and welcome to the County Buzz. Franklin County's Winchester, is the county seat here. It's the largest city in Franklin County and it generates the most revenue of all of them for the county resources. We have an interview this morning with Mayor Terry Harrell. We'll be back right after this.
Smith Tire and Business Center, located at 1110 West Main Street in Deckard, here for all your maintenance needs. 5-quart or less conventional oil changes, $29.95, includes fluids checked and topped off at no extra cost. Large selection of tires in stock with layaway available on tires and wheels. Wiper blades and batteries available on site. Front end rebuilding and alignments, U-Haul rental, and even free brake inspections are offered. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 7:30 to 12 on Saturdays. Smith Tire and Business Center. The friendly folks.
When it comes to furniture, appliances, electronics, and yard equipment, start with a company you can trust. Badcock Home Furniture and More in Winchester has spent years faithfully serving their community and their customers. Badcock Furniture has always been ahead of the rest when it comes to brand name furniture, appliances, and electronics. That's why Badcock is the best. Badcock continues to renovate their store plan with new top-of-the-line quality products that fit your taste and budget and make your life at home easier than ever. Upgrade your appliances today. Ranges, freezers, refrigerators, microwaves, vacuums, and stay comfortable through the years with air conditioners and infrared quartz fireplace heaters in several sizes and designs. Live healthy and sleep better with iComfort Sleep Systems by Serta, plus sleep accessories, support systems, and foundations from other major brands. Badcock carries state-of-the-art entertainment equipment, TVs, DVD players, home theaters, computers, tablets, printers, and more, and financing is available. Visit Gregor K. Gillum and the staff at Badcock Home Furniture and More today. 405 Bypass Road in Winchester. Call 931-962-4991. We make it easy. We deliver. Badcock Home Furniture and More in Winchester.
Steel Salvage. Looking for ways to clean your garage out and pick up a few extra dollars? Got an old engine block in your yard? If it's metal or wire, it has value, and Steel Scrapyard will pay you for it. Cash money. What scrap, you say? Iron, cast iron, tin, bundles of wires, all sorts. Precious metals like aluminum, copper, brass. Bring top dollar. Even those storm windows and doors can bring you money. Put it on the scale and hold out your hand. Money for scrap at Steels. Located at 504 4th Avenue Southwest in Winchester, they buy and sell almost everything.
Yeah, welcome back everyone to the County Buzz and welcome Mayor Terry Harrell. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
We've had a great celebration with the Merry Little Downtown Christmas. Winchester seems to be on a real roll here. Why don't you tell us where the city is in terms of its budget and how its current affairs are?
Okay. As any event that we have, they tend to always be very successful, and that's attributed to the volunteers that help with the events. Our city administrator Beth Roten, all the employees that help. And all of the merchants around the square that help with this and make this a success. We have many events throughout the year. I guess the one that most people are familiar with is the Dogwood Festival, which is a tremendous event and draws thousands and thousands of people here that weekend, and especially for the headliner entertainment. And that could never be possible without the volunteers to help put that on and the employees that help. And as soon as the Dogwood Festival is over, they'll start the next day almost planning for the very next one. So we have the wriggle that is 2 or 3 times a year, and that is usually a Friday evening event, and that's becoming to be very successful, draws a lot of people to town, and the merchants are very pleased with that. We've done a lot around the square to try to improve the square and to encourage new businesses to open. And we have this past year, and especially this past year, seen the rewards of that hard work. And that hard work couldn't have been done without a grant that the city was successful in getting, the Downtown Square Revitalization Grant. And we got that grant in a defined area was 11 block area around the square was defined, and the businesses that are located within that 11 block area, the state's portion of the sales tax comes back to the city, and those funds are used for improvements around the city and to the facades of the businesses and the property around the square. So all of the improvements that you see around the square, many of those improvements is a result of that grant. And we take advantage of every grant that we possibly can, as long as we can afford to. Most grants are an 80-20 participation. In other words, we participate 20% and the grant covers the 80%. A lot of times the 20% that we cover can be in kind. So if we've got something that say our public works can do to get a piece of property or something ready in anticipation of the grant, a lot of times the time that was spent on that can count as our 20%. So grants have been just been our savior for years, but it does come to a time when coming up with 20%, you can't afford to just keep doing that and doing that and doing that. But we have been successful, and we still have grants that are on the horizon that will be coming to fruition. So lots of things going on in Winchester.
You talk about the downtown Winchester. That actually is a separate corporate entity, is it not, from the city of Winchester?
Well, it is, and it was the Winchester Downtown Group was formed as a vehicle to allow those funds that was coming from the state to the city. It was formed as a vehicle to allow us to pass those funds on to the WDPC, as we refer to it, in order for those funds to be used for the improvements to the facades around town. So that's how probably 99% of that grant has been used, is through the WDPC.
Yeah, it's certainly had a powerful impact on the city of Winchester. And I know that you're careful with money. You've mentioned it several times now. So let's talk about money. Does Winchester, is Winchester in good financial condition, and does the future look bright?
The city of Winchester has very little debt, and we pride ourselves with that. If in most cases, if we can't afford to pay for it, we don't do it. But there are times when it becomes necessary. Sometimes we may take on debt to buy a fire truck. Fire trucks are not cheap. They may be $300,000 or $400,000, and we may structure that where we pay $50,000 a year on an annual payment. We recently purchased a piece of property known as the old Don Hall Ford building location, and we had a lot that we traded to the seller for that as partial payment, and the seller gave us owner financing, and so we're in the process of paying for that, and we would anticipate that property becoming a new fire hall, moving the fire hall off of the square out to the old Don Hall Ford building. The reason for that is twofold. One is to get it off the square. It's just not real safe for fire trucks, emergency vehicles to leave off of the square. And two is that the industry is out on that end of town, and we need to be responsive to the industry out there, and to the hospital out there. So we are in good financial condition. We absolutely are.
That brings up two things, and one thing is just sort of quickly, Winchester has got a wonderful fire rating 4, and the only way it could go to a 3 is to enhance its fire protection on the industrial community.
Right.
So will this move bring that down to a 3 for?
Well, we hope that it will. We anticipate that it will, but you never know until we get there and it's manned and equipped, and then they come back and review us and see if we're able to achieve that goal. But we anticipate that it will. Yes.
And the other thing that I've been listening to and you're talking about, you're always seem to be looking in the future. So I gather that planning is pretty crucial. In our the last meeting you had with the city council, you talked about the fact that the interconnection between Highway 50 and 64 is going to, the state will stop supporting the old Highway 50 maintenance and so forth. So you have already begun the process of planning for that issue.
Well, we anticipate that the state is going to turn a section of that road over to the city. We would love for the state to continue to maintain that, but we don't expect that they will. And where the concern is, and it always has been, is on the Lynchburg Highway going out of town, just before you get that section, before you get to the Dry Creek area. The road is real narrow. It has deep ditches. The sidewalks are, well, for all practical purposes, there's really no sidewalks there. And we are in the process and anticipating, we hope we're successful in getting a grant from the state to help with that, and that'll be what we're considering the first phase, and we're going to ask for $1 million to do that. And just a short section there, it'll take that $1 million to do some widening of that road, and to put culverts in the ditches, and to build sidewalks there. And we hope and would anticipate going all the way down to Dry Creek with improvements and a sidewalk.
Well, and that sounds perfectly timed, because the new marina is, they're starting to go forward on that down Dry Creek, and I suspect that this road will be an important piece of infrastructure to enhance that facility.
Well, it will, and we actually have a grant that will help with the entrance to the Dry Creek area, and that will require a turn lane there, which means a lot of expense and improvements to get a turn lane going into the marina. And we just, in the last week or two, signed a lease with the investors for the Dry Creek Marina, and we're very excited about that, and expect big things to come from that. You know, that's probably easily a $6 million project there, and they're going to be bringing initially approximately 150 boat docks or boat slips there. They're going to hope to have somewhere in the range of 250 to 300 if TVA will allow them that many. They'll have a shore store there, which will be right adjacent to those docks, where you can buy, you know, ice and snack foods and things like that before you go out on the lake. They're anticipating a restaurant there, campsites, cabins, motel, just a lot of dry storage for boats. Just a lot of activity is going to be starting there. It's all in TVA's hands right now, and we anticipate that they'll be reviewing our lease and that'll be improved. We worked closely with TVA trying to get a lease that we felt like that they would agree to and sign off on, and so we're very optimistic that they will approve that. The investors just, I don't guess there's no commitment to when they'll open, but their goal would be or is to try to be open on Memorial Day weekend 2017.
That's really great, because I can I've only been in Franklin County since 1991, and Dry Creek Beach has just been an unpolished gem in Franklin County, and it's so good to see things happening toward that end. So that will be that road. That's a difficult road, Highway 50 in the city of Winchester. It's got twists and turns, and as you mentioned, the culverts. So that will be an important aspect of safety. Your tax rate. Winchester's tax rate has been very stable. Are you pulling money out of reserves or just doing magic?
Well, our tax rate is 82.333 cents per hundred. And we just kind of go back and forth with Estill Springs as being the lowest tax rate in Franklin County, and I guess we're proud of that. As I said earlier, we manage our budget and we work toward budget. We look for there's two ways you can impact the budget, and that's either increase revenue or cut expenses. One or the other. We're trying to increase revenue by improvements to the downtown area, sales tax, out on the boulevard, sales tax, new property ownerships, building with new property taxes. But we're also cutting expenses where we can, and we have cut expenses throughout the past several years. And in fact, as we lose an employee, we look hard at a replacement for that employee. We try to find a way to take up the slack from within to where we do not have to replace that employee. We've got approximately 70 full-time employees. In the summer with the park, we may bump that up to close to 100, but generally speaking, 70 employees. And we want to maintain that level. And we're looking for ways to improve our work process through technology, just working harder and working smarter, and to keep our tax rate down. Can I say that the tax rate will never go up? I couldn't say that, but we have managed to keep it very competitive and among the lowest in the county, and we're proud of that.
All right, that's Mayor Terry Harrell. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back.
Hammers, your hometown department store. Unbeatable prices and new stock is always being added. They've got a great selection of fall and winter fashions for the cold months ahead, hunting gear for all the sportsmen, scrubs, work clothes, fabrics, tools, and even great gift ideas like toys and jewelry. Conveniently located on the boulevard in Winchester, Hammers has something for everyone. Come in today and enjoy service with a smile.
Whatever your shipping needs, Mr. Postman is where you want to go. Convenient across from the post office in Winchester. Take your packages or bring the item unpacked and they'll carefully box it and send it off for safe delivery. Anywhere. Yes, in or out of the USA, Mr. Postman can get it there quickly. There's more. Get a box number with a street address. Start a background check with safe and secure fingerprinting. Oh, wait, forgot that card to go with that present? Not a problem. A good selection of cards, funny, faithful, and family. Mr. Postman, across from the post office, Winchester.
John T's Barbecue, conveniently located on the square in Winchester, full-service dining with a relaxed hometown atmosphere. Try some delicious items at reasonable prices. Fresh smoked meats including pulled pork, chicken, beef brisket, baby back ribs, and bacon. Other specialties include grilled burgers, fried catfish, smoking nachos, and stuffed Tennessee taters. Open Thursdays and Fridays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 4 to 9 p.m. Saturdays 11 to 9 and Sundays 11 to 3. John T's, not your typical barbecue joint.
Welcome back, everyone, to the County Buzz. I'm here with Mayor Terry Harrell, and you've told us a good bit about Winchester, and one of the things I'd like to revisit, which is the rerouting of the connector route from Highway 64 to Highway 50. That's going right through where Winchester has been storing its leaves and brush and material. You've about lost all of that. How are you going to cope with that?
Well, it's going through what I guess we always refer to as our burn pile. And we did do some mulching there and tried to give away mulch for the individuals that wanted that. But it's taking a big part of that. And we have to, and we're in the process of looking at options that we're going to have for that. Do we, because what's left there is just not going to be enough for what we need. So do we look at relocating it? Do we look at buying a piece of property somewhere or finding a piece of property where we can locate that? Do we look at options for that to be transported out of Winchester to some other area? Do we find a vendor that's interested in that? So those are all things that we are looking at and trying to figure out how we're going to deal with that. But we'll find a way.
And also you, Mr. Goodwin, your Public Works Director, both in a workshop session said that there would have to be new, more enforced or new guidelines in terms of what the public can put out on the roadway and have the Public Works Department pick up. Could you go through some of those things for us?
Well, we for many years now we have been limited to what that the citizen can put out on the curb and we can pick up, because we have to have a resource or have to have someplace that we can take that. And building material, people that are doing home improvements and things like that, we're just not able to pick those up. Those need to go to the proper facility for that, and that is in Estill Springs. We do find people that are just not aware of that occasionally, where they may replace the carpet in a room and they'll lay the carpet out on the curb. So we are having to deal with some of that. But part of what you're asking about, I think, is that we were finding ourselves in a situation where people would do a tremendous landscaping in their yard, pulling bushes up by the roots and leaving them out there, and we would come across just a tremendous pile of just bushes and limbs and things like that. And oftentimes that would require someone with a front end. It would require us to have a front end loader on site there to pick some of that up. Truck men, sometimes flaggers for safety, and take an entire day just for that one residence. And that's not really very cost effective. So we also recognize that over a weekend that someone might contract with one of the commercial landscapers to come in, or tree trimmers, and come in and trim their trees. And part of the pricing was on that they didn't have to deal with the limbs, and they were expecting the city to have to do that. If you engage a commercial person to do limbs trimming for you, then that needs to be part of that contract. for them to dispose of that. We have had to set certain limits as to what we're able to do, and those limits will be going out with your utility bill, showing and telling you what those limits are. Certain size of limbs, logs, links, height of a pile of that. So, we can only cover just so much area, and right now with leaves, it works our public works department to death just to keep up with the leaves. And if they come up on a residence that's got their whole front yard covered in limbs that have to be picked up and or requires a backhoe and a dump truck and all of that, it just throws them behind. So the county is already implementing charges for things like that, and so we're having to do that too, and we'll do the best we can. And sometimes, especially in leaf season, the citizens probably get a little impatient, but it'll take the leaf truck probably 3 weeks or so to make a full round, just depending on what that workload is.
Prior to 1990, we were able to take our leaves and garbage and kind of do whatever we wanted with it.
Sure.
And those changed, of course, when the Interlocal Solid Waste Authority came along. And one of the things you mentioned was the county has instituted new charges as a result of a new 10-year contract on waste material. Even the leaves are now considered waste material. Mm-hmm. So there are limitations as to where you can store it, are
Sure.
there not?
There is, yeah. There sure is. And it's probably, those limitations are probably going to increase from an environmental standpoint as our environmental agencies review the different types of waste, and so they're probably going to get tighter and tighter as time goes on.
It's our future, and I think there'll be a lot of discussion on some of these side issues all the way along. So your tax rate is stable. You seem to be looking well into the future. Let's talk about your police department.
Okay.
Chief Dennis Young was named to be the Director of Public Safety. That seems to have worked out very well for Winchester.
It really has. Dennis does a great job, and he it gives it a lot of his attention, and he lives that every day. And we don't have a lot of crime in Winchester, but things are changing, and we're beginning to see signs of gang activity within Winchester and Franklin County and the surrounding areas. The drugs that are coming into our area, all of those things have an impact on our community. And Dennis and his investigators and his staff, they work diligently with that, and I think that's evidenced by, from time to time, we see reports come out to where there have been certain drug busts or things that they've been involved in to deter the crime activity. I would just encourage the citizens to be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what's going on in your neighborhood, and if you see something that's not right, that doesn't feel right, let the police department know. You never know. I mean, that may save someone from being broken into. It could save someone's life. So we've all got to work harder at being more aware of our environment, because our environment, from a safety standpoint, is becoming more and more challenging.
One of the, I know that Dennis was actively involved in what is now called the Franklin County Prevention Coalition. Mm-hmm. And that started out with weed and weed and feed,
weed and seed.
weed and seed grant that that Dennis obtained. And so you talk about prevention, and I think the Prevention Coalition and the Camp 4 Family Resource Center, all located here in Winchester, probably do a lot to increase awareness and to make the families more focused on
Right.
looking out for themselves.
Yeah. Tabitha Curtis has done an outstanding job with that program, and she and Dennis work very close together, and have won awards with the things, the accomplishments that they have had throughout the years. Another, I guess, arm of that might be is drug court, and
Yes.
and the activities that Judge Perry has been involved in. That is a tremendous program, and it serves a purpose. And if we can just keep people from making mistakes and help people, those that do make mistakes, if we can help those get back on the right path, then we've done a great job. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Thank you, Mayor Harrell. Thank you very much for
You're
being here. And we appreciate you watching the County Buzz. If you're seeing us on Comcast Channel 3, we'll repeat throughout the week until the following Tuesday. And you can always catch us, the Franklin County Buzz, on Facebook, Twitter, and keep your eye out for the live news reports we're doing. We're trying to keep things on the lookout for you. If there's something you want to see on the Franklin County Buzz, just post it wherever you want on social media and hashtag it. Franklin County Buzz will find it and put it on. We're going to be looking out for you.